Section 6. This is going to seem like the most parts, but I promise you it's the easiest. The only thing to remember here is keep the steps in order. Keep the steps in order. You can do a pretty bad job at everything else I'm about to show you and still do well as long as you keep things in order. This requires far less skill than what we've talked about before. Far less thought, right? It's just pretty robotic. So far, let's talk about what we've done. We've grabbed attention, we've made a promise, we've backed the promise up, we've connected to the audience, and you've told your story, right? A lot of people do that. Salespeople do this all the freaking time. They get this part right because it's the hardest part, right? And then what do they not do? Close. They don't ask for the sale, right? And that's the difference between a really great salesperson and a really bad salesperson. Totally the difference, right? You can actually be pretty bad at the first part and ask for sales more often than the other guy. You're going to beat them. You can take somebody who's much more skilled, much more articulate, right, and still beat them just by saying, hey, dude, you buy that? I used to have a guy work for me, Ken Caudell, my favorite people in the world. He was a hardcore sales guy. We sold together at a car dealership and then at a bunch of other stuff a long time ago at a computer store. And I had all these young guys selling computers. And he would always stand over in the corner. These guys are just talking until they're blue in the face. And Ken's going, hey, boss, let me go button that up. Let me go button that up. Let me go button that up. And he would get so frustrated. He's like, all these young college kids were working for me, University of Indiana, and he'd say, hey, kid, Jimmy, yeah, your mom's on the phone. I think she's sick or something. Really? Yeah, she's right here. And he'd go over to get the phone. Ken would go close his sale. And the kid would come back and says, there wasn't anybody there. And he's like, he just loved to close them up, and he was a great closer. So we're going to talk about that next. So it's time to make your offer. You've done all your homework. You've done the part nobody else does, right? A lot of people, I always say that making your offer prematurely is very much like asking a girl for sex that you met in a bar 1 minute ago, right? You haven't established yourself. You haven't shown attraction. You haven't shown a promise. You haven't shown any authority. You haven't told a story. There's no acquaintanceship. There's no time that's passed. But now you've done all that homework. So let's make an offer. Can we down the lights real quick? This is almost purely for entertainment. It is kind of fun, though.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Barnum, I can't just run off.
The greatest offer maker ever.
Sounds thrilling, doesn't it?
Let's just say that I find it much more comfortable admiring your show from afar.
Comfort, the enemy of progress.
Do you understand that just associating with you could cost
Comfort
me
is
my
the enemy of progress.
Oh, it could cost you more than that. You'd be risking everything, but on the other hand, well, you just might find yourself a free man. Right here, right now, I put the offer out. I don't want to chase you down. I know you see it. You run with me, and I can cut you free out of the drudgery and walls you keep in. So trade that typical for something colorful. And if it's crazy, live a little crazy. You can play it sensible, a king of conventional, or you can risk it all and see. Don't you wanna get away from the same part you gotta play? Cause I got what you need, so come with me and take the ride. It'll take you to the other side. Cause you can do like you do, or you can do like me. Stay in the cage, or you finally take the key. Oh, damn, suddenly you're free to fly. It'll take you to the other side.
Okay, my friend, you wanna cut me in. Well, I hate to tell you, but it just won't happen. So thanks, but no, I think I'm good to go. Cause I quite enjoy the life you say I'm trapped in. Now I admire you, and that'll show you do. You're onto something, really it's something. But I live among the swells, and we don't pick up peanut shells. I'll have to leave that up to you. Don't you know that I'm okay with this uptown part I get to play? Cause I got what I need, and I don't wanna take the ride. And I need to see the other side. So go and do like you do. I'm good to do like me. Ain't in a cage, so I don't need to take the key. Oh, damn, can't you see I'm doing fine? I don't need to see the other side.
this really how you like to spend your days? Whiskey, misery, and parties and plays.
If I were mixed up with you, I'd be the talk of the town, disgraced and disowned, another one of the clowns.
But you would finally live a little, finally laugh a little. Just let me give you the freedom to dream, and it'll wake you up and cure your aching. Take your walls and start them breaking. Now that's a deal that seems worth taking. But I guess I'll leave that up to you.
Well, it's intriguing, but to go would cost me greatly. So what percentage of the show?
So they negotiate now, right? So if you haven't seen that movie, Greatest Showman, it's like maybe the greatest movie ever. Really, really good. But the point is, there's a couple of lessons to be learned there. All that's just entertainment, right? Barnum was the greatest offer maker ever in the history of offer makers. He was the greatest, right? But you remember what he told the guy he was going to be doing in the job? He didn't tell him. Remember how much money he told him he was going to make? He didn't. He talked about breaking through, coming over to the other side, being free. Right? Right? But really, Derek and I had this conversation last night about how freedom is the new currency. It's not make $1 million in 20 minutes or whatever. It's do what fulfills you, what makes you happy, and supplies your needs. Right? That's their mindset right now. So, but I thought this was an interesting clip to play because it is so true. Carl White's our good friend who's a war room member and genius, by the way. Really like the guy. He's a big old redneck boy in Harley shirts that you just look at and go, really, that guy? Yeah, the answer is yeah, really, that guy. He's amazing. But he always says that an offer, to him, when he crafts an offer, he imagines his prospect on one island, and on the other island is what they want or need, right? And he's just building a bridge and selling a ticket. Right? So I think when you're talking about come over to the other side, I think that's real for people. You know, I'm using the phraseology right now a lot about breaking a cycle. That's working well for me in pitches. It's like, hey, you've been doing the same thing forever. You go to work so you can come home, so you can make money to buy a house, so you can go to work, pay for it, come home, make money, buy a house, tired, sleep, cycle, 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 and the cycle continues. At some point, you're going to break or the cycle's going to break. Which one's it going to be? This is your choice, right? So that's what an offer is.